Welcome to my cruise pod. I'm Melissa, a university professor who loves to cruise and who loves to talk ship. In this episode, we're going to talk about the number one question I get asked, which is, how the hell do you cruise so often? Well, I actually do it for free. And no, not because I'm sponsored because of social media. I do what anyone could do, which is I get free casino cruises. So I'm going to share with you all of my tips and secrets of how I do this and how you can leverage casino matches and casino programs to do what I do and cruise a whole lot. So let's get into it. First, what are free casino cruises? And I'll tell you in a minute why I put free in quotes. So free casino cruises, they're special offers that are given by the cruise lines as a perk to their casino guests. So if you've ever spent any time gambling in a cruise ship casino, you might receive an offer for a significantly discounted cruise or even a free cruise. So these offers are typically sent out by the cruise line's casino program. Almost every cruise line, with the exception of Disney, they have a separate casino program that works in partnership with the cruise line. And for a lot of cruise lines, casinos are a huge revenue generator for them. So of course they want guests to spend money in the casinos. If you think about a cruise fare and what it includes and all of the things that it includes, the cruise lines sometimes don't even make a lot of money off of a typical cruiser. Where they make their money is through the photo packages, Wi-Fi, the spa, excursions, all the other stuff that they sell in the casino. So their casino departments come up with strategies to maximize their bottom line, which then of course helps the cruise line, and it encourages guests to come back and to spend more time at sea and in the casino. But here's the thing, they're not just for high rollers. Even casual gamblers, or what I call like myself, little fish, we can find ourselves on the receiving end of these offers if we know how to play the game, literally and figuratively. So the cruise lines, they use these comps, these complimentary cruises, we call them comps, to reward loyal guests and to bring new players on board. Because the hope is that they'll recoup their investment. So they give you a free cruise, they hope you're gonna spend that money and then some in the casino. Now, cruise line offers, they can feel mysterious, and in a lot of ways they are. We're gonna talk about that. But free casino cruises can be a strategic way for people like me to cruise frequently for free and for a strategic marketing tool for the cruise lines. So it's a win-win. Now, if this all sounds familiar, it's because this works exactly the same way that it does at land-based casinos. Like if you go out to Las Vegas, and in a Vegas casino, they might offer you free hotel stays or meals or show tickets to entice you to come to their casinos and their properties and spend your money there. It's the same exact thing. Cruise lines are doing the same thing, but on a floating hotel. So they're luring you in with those free or discounted cruise fares, hoping that you're gonna spend time and money in the casino, and as I mentioned, that you're gonna spend more than they invested in you for a free cruise. And again, if you play your cards right, pun actually not intended, that was very clever, I just came up with that. It can be an absolute win-win situation. Now, let's talk about which cruise lines offer free casino cruises. Well, the good news is pretty much all of them. Most of the major players, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Norwegian, Carnival, MSC, Virgin Voyages, although theirs is newer and not that great yet. They got a lot of work to do. Holland America Line, almost all the big players have casino programs that provide you with the chance to earn free or discounted cruises. And each of these lines have their own casino loyalty program that is branded in its own way. And within those programs, there are varying tiers of rewards. For example, Royal Caribbean Club Royale program, whereas Carnival is the Ocean Players Club. And the more you gamble, the higher your tier and the more likely you are to get comps and perks and offers like free cruises. Sometimes if you're a big fish, you can even get free play in the casino or other perks like drinks in the casino or drinks everywhere. Pretty much the only cruise line that I can at least think of that does not have a casino program is Disney Cruise Line, because they don't have casinos on their cruise ships. So you're not gonna find that there, but you will at most of the other cruise lines. Not all casino cruise programs are equal. It's important to understand at least the basics of how each one works, so you're being strategic and making the most of your time in the casino. So if casino cruises are your thing, obviously avoid Disney Cruise because you're not gonna have an opportunity to earn discounted or free cruises there, but the other ones are giving you that opportunity. Every cruise line has what's called a coin-in value, and that differs from cruise line to cruise line. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But first, are casino cruises really free? Before we go any further, I want to tackle a big question, because every time I make a video about free casino cruises, people come on being snarky saying, well, you spent thousands of dollars on your free cruise. So are they really free? Well, yes and no. If you get a free casino offer, they'll generally cover your cruise fare, but you still need to pay for port fees, taxes, and gratuities. And this can add up to a few $100s, depending on, of course, the length and destination of your cruise. And when you're on the ship, unless again, you're a big fish and you get all this stuff free, you're gonna be doing things like paying for Wi-Fi, and if you get photos and that kind of stuff. And of course, your big expense is gonna be gambling. And now, of course, cruise lines, they're not stupid. They know this, and that's why they're willing to give you a free cruise and comp your fare. But the key here is to enjoy your cruise while being very mindful of your spending and being very disciplined. So while the cruise itself might be free, the extras can add up, so you have to be careful. Now, it's still an extreme bargain. I did a 14-day European cruise this summer, and it cost me like $300 in port fees and taxes. It's insane how you can get basically free international travel if you can figure out how to maximize these cruise line casino systems. So, how much do you have to spend to get a free casino offer? The million-dollar question. I see this asked literally every single day. And people ask me this probably literally every single day. And the answer is nobody freaking knows. And nobody ever will know. The cruise lines, just like the land-based casinos in Vegas and all that, they keep it mysterious because they don't want us cracking the code. Each cruise line has its own system and it's proprietary, and they are super tight-lipped about the details. They're never gonna share with you exactly how it is they calculate what they see as the value of each casino player. The only thing that we know is that casino programs track our play. They use a combination of factors, and we don't know all of them. We never will, and again, they're different from cruise line to cruise line. But one of the big factors that they're going to consider is what's called coin-in value. And what coin-in value is how much money you are circulating through a machine. Each cruise line has a different coin-in value, is just one example. Carnival Cruise Line used to be $2.50. They recently changed it to $2. So for every $2 that you're circulating through a machine or doing in table play, that is counting as a point. If you pop your card in a slot machine, it'll tell you your points. So that part is not mysterious. You generally can tell how many points that you've earned. And again, those points are earned on that coin-in basis. But how many points are going to earn you what? That you don't know. Usually. There's an exception to that, which I'll talk about in a moment. Now, while there is generally not any hard and fast rule about how many points it takes to get a free cruise, again, nobody knows, and there's a lot of inconsistencies. Some people might get a free cruise with just a few hundred points, but some people can get 10, 11,000 points and get nothing. I sailed Carnival Mardi Gras about 9 months ago, and I had almost 11,000 points, and I got nothing from Carnival. Whereas a friend of mine only had 500 points and got a pretty steep discount on a future cruise. So it really is a crapshoot sometimes. But in general, you just want to know that you want to track your points. So every time you play in a slot machine, you're going to enter your player's card, or Virgin Voyages has a little touch fob. And if you're a table player, you want to make sure the host knows you're playing, they see your play, and they're tracking your play. That's done more so manually. But when it comes to coin-in value, the frustrating thing is, again, we don't know how many points get you what. Now, the exception to that rule, and I really appreciate this about this cruise line, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, they're owned by the same company. They have a Club Royale program. Again, that's how they brand their casino program. So with Club Royale, they're really transparent. So if I take a Royal Caribbean cruise, I've got my Royal Caribbean card, I play in a slot machine, I track my points. They actually have little signs in the casino that will tell you exactly how many points you need for each thing. And once you hit that point level, you know, hey, I've earned a free cruise. I've earned a free interior stateroom. If I earn this many points, I get a free balcony stateroom. And obviously the more points you earn, the better the stateroom you get and the more variety of sailings that you're eligible for. So they're really transparent. And I like that because you know exactly what you're going into. You know when to stop in the casino of, hey, I'm going for 2,500 points, and once I get there, I earn a free interior, for example, and I'm gonna stop playing. So if you like that predictable way of earning a free cruise and you like to know for sure, no guessing that I'm going to go in a cruise line casino, I'm going to gamble with the intention of getting a free cruise, and I wanna know for sure I'm gonna get one, Club Royale is the way to go. Because with most of the other cruise lines, it's anybody's guess. And sometimes, like I said with my example with Mardi Gras, you can spend a lot of money, earn a lot of points, and walk away with zilch. Now let's talk a little bit about coin-in value, because this is what the cruise lines use to calculate those points. When you play in a slot machine, coin-in is the total amount of money that you circulate through the machine and you bet over time. So if you put in $100 and you continue to play without cashing out, you could actually end up accruing several thousand points if you're winning and then you're recirculating that through. The casino tracks this coin-in value to determine how much you've wagered and how much you circulated through those machines. For table games, it's different. And sometimes I know table players get frustrated because their play doesn't always get accurately tracked. Slot machines are great because every single dollar you're circulating through there is getting tracked as long as you've got your card in the machine. That's really important. But with table play, the casino looks at the type of game you're playing, your average bet size, how long you play, things like that to try to estimate your total wagered amount. Now, both types of play, if you do both, if you're a slot player and a table player, all of these are factored into the casino's decision and that secret magical algorithm or formula they have to decide what kind of offers they're going to give you. So just know though that they're tracked differently, and table play is harder to track, and I feel like you don't always get the benefit of all you're actually playing, whereas with slots, you're getting credit for everything. Now I want to talk about another important factor that goes into that calculation, which is what is called ADT. That stands for average daily theoretical, or sometimes you'll hear casinos call it average daily theo. ADT is a number that represents how much the casino expects you to lose, keep in mind not win, because we never win, the house always wins, each day based on your coin-in value, the types of games you play, and the time that you spend playing, and other factors. Casinos use this ADT to assess how much they value you as a player. They'll actually assign numbers to it, and that determines what kind of comps or offers that you're going to ultimately get. Now, in simple terms, obviously, the higher your ADT, the more valuable you are to the casino, and the better your offers are going to be. Now, different cruise lines have varying requirements for coin-in to calculate your ADT. Holland America Line has a coin-in value of $2, which means that for every $2 you bet on the slots, you earn 1 point. Carnival for a long time was $2.50. They've recently changed that to $2 as well. But understanding the coin-in value, understanding how points are calculated, understanding how to see your points with your card, understanding to track your points, and having a general understanding of what ADT is and how it's calculated is important because that's going to help you maximize your casino cruise offers. Now let's talk about leveraging casino matches. Another way to score free casino cruises is through casino matching programs. And this is where it gets really interesting and where if you parlay your offers, you can really take advantage of the system. Programs like Your Comped, I'll drop a link below, allow you to take your status from one cruise line's casino program and match it with others. So for example, if I've earned status with Ocean Players Club through Carnival Cruise Lines, and I get a free casino offer, I can take that to Your Comped, sign up, it's free, upload my offer. Your Comped then, they're basically a travel agency that specializes in casino players, specifically with cruise lines. They'll take that offer and then they'll go to the casino departments at the other cruise lines that they work with. They don't work with all of them, but they work with most of the major players. For example, they'll take my Carnival status, my Carnival offer, they'll take it to Royal Caribbean, that Club Royale program, their casino program, and they'll basically try to get them to match that offer. Then they'll come back and say, okay, even though you maybe never sailed that cruise line before, for example, my first Royal Caribbean cruise was a free casino cruise. That's what got me on Royal Caribbean. They matched an offer through Your Comped. Royal Caribbean will come back and say, okay, based on the free offer that this person got from another competing cruise line, we can tell they spend some money in the casino. We want to woo them over to our cruise line and our casino instead. So we're gonna give them a freebie, even though they've never stepped foot on our ship before. So by playing the game this way and leveraging these free and discounted cruise offers from one cruise line to another, that can allow you to maximize your benefit of free casino cruises. And then of course, once you're on that cruise ship, the expectation is you're going to play. If you don't play, that's gonna be a one and done. I'll give you a great example. I took a free Virgin Voyages cruise via Your Comped. I really liked the cruise, but I didn't love it. I didn't love Virgin. I don't like their limited itineraries, and I hated their casino. It was really small. I didn't like the game, so I didn't play in it much. And I kind of screwed myself because I played so little. Virgin now will not give me any free casino offers at all. They're kind of like, we're done with you. We gave you a free cruise. You spent like $100 in our casino. Bye, girl. So I'll probably never sail Virgin Voyages again for free in the casino program. So be cognizant of that. But if you sail on a cruise line and you're like, hey, I don't really like this anyway, I don't care to invest the money in the casino to try to get more free offers, who really cares? Sail with the lines that you like and invest your money in those casinos. So casino matching, it's a fantastic strategy to expand your options. And there are other agencies out there. It's not just your comp. Other ones do similar things. There's one like Executive Casino Tours. You can find them out there. But even if you're loyal to one cruise line, matching your status with others can open up a lot of different opportunities. And something else I want to touch upon is even if you have never cruised before, a lot of these cruise line casino programs will match your land-based offers. So if you have a Hard Rock Casino card or status, or with Caesars or a land-based casino, a lot of times if you Google those cruise lines casino programs and search, for example, Royal Caribbean Casino Match Program or something like that, you can usually find a page where it'll let you sign up. You can upload your card or something to show that you have status with a land-based casino. And sometimes the cruise lines will actually take your land-based casino offers and offer you a free cruise as a match for a land-based casino. So being smart, savvy, and strategic about these matches can really allow you to maximize your opportunity to take free cruises. Now, I want to touch upon some recent changes in casino cruises because, like with all good things, they don't always last. And the landscape here is really changing. We've seen post-2020 cruise demand absolutely skyrocketing. Everybody's cruising. I'm seeing big spikes in cruise fares, and I'm seeing big changes, unfortunately, in how cruise lines handle and approach casino offers. Also, thanks to people like me, sorry to all the casino players, but I don't gatekeep. With us spreading the word about how these casino offers work, people are starting to do it more. And so it's now a much higher bar and it's harder to get those casino offers. In the past, you may have been able to score a free cruise by spending very little money. I first got on the free casino circuit on a friend's free casino offer. She invited me. She's like, do you want to go to Alaska for free? I'm like, heck yeah. And she told me how she did it. And so I'm like, okay, I'll spend some money in the casino. I literally spent like $225. And that was enough for me when I got home to get an offer via email from Holland America Line, wooing me back with another free cruise. So that's how I got started with it. Was a friend brought me into it. And I spent very, very little my first time. And sometimes they'll be a little bit more patient with newbies. You don't have to spend as much. But once they've started giving you a lot of free cruises, you got to up and up and up the ante, literally and figuratively, and start spending more in the casinos to keep those sweet offers coming. But as more people are taking advantage of these things and more people know how the system works, I'm seeing a lot of the cruise lines really starting to tighten their belt when it comes to their requirements. So it's now becoming harder to get free cruise offers on just a minimal spend, so you're having to really gamble more to earn that coveted offer. And there does come a break-even point where you have to ask yourself, am I spending more money in the casino than I would just buying a cruise fare outright? And if that becomes the case, then you have to determine, maybe I shouldn't gamble in the casino. Maybe I should just do what regular people do and book a regular cruise fare. Now, for me, I actually do enjoy the casino. I find it entertainment. I see it as an investment in cruising, and I also cruise a lot. If I get one free cruise offer via email from Carnival Cruise Lines, I can use that to book up to 5 free cruises. So even if I spend $5 grand in the casino to do that, I get 5 cruises, that's still a really good deal for me because I can take advantage of that. But if you're just an infrequent cruiser, you can't get a lot of time off work, it's probably not worth it, to be honest with you. So this is really something that's more for frequent cruisers, but know that those good old days of spending a little bit and getting a lot in return, those days are pretty much done. So it's getting harder and harder to earn points. It's getting harder to climb that casino loyalty ladder. It's getting harder to get those free cruise offers, and it may end up costing you. So you've got to think about this strategically and see if it makes sense for you. Now let's talk about how you receive offers. There's 2 ways of receiving offers. Say you do go on a cruise, you go in the casino, you spend. I'm gonna keep beating this drum. Every time you play in the casino, you always have to use your card. You're tracking your points, your coin in value, you're earning those points. You're tracking your points. A lot of the cruise lines now allow you to track your casino points on the app. You see where you're at. At the end of the cruise, you may or may not get what I call a love letter in your mailbox. And ooh, it's so fun when you get those. Basically, if you spent enough on the cruise, you may get what's called a bounce back offer or a come back and sail offer. Casino players call this a CBS offer. And that's basically you've spent enough, they're gonna give you immediately a certificate for a free cruise that you can redeem. And usually you have, 15, 30 days, something like that to book it, but usually you have 6 months to a year, even longer, to actually take that cruise. That's great. But if you do not get a CBS or a bounce back offer, don't despair, not all is lost. A lot of times, after you get back home, sometimes it might be even a few weeks, you might start getting email offers from the casino department, and that might have casino offers with free or discounted cruises as well. So if you don't get a come back and sail offer, don't fret. You might get those email ones later. And if you do get a come back and sail offer, it's almost a guarantee you will get those email offers as well. And sometimes those email offers are better than that immediate offer you get that last night on the cruise. So that's kind of how that works. And again, while all this is a mystery, I've talked to a lot of casino hosts, and what I've been able to figure out is that on basically every cruise, you are in the casino with every other person on that ship that's a casino player. They're basically ranking you with how many points you've accrued compared to everybody else. And generally at the end of that sailing, that comeback and sail offer or that bounce back offer is going to go to that top percentage, that top tier of gamblers on that cruise. So an important little nugget of information here, and I've screwed myself with this before. If you find yourself on a sailing that is geared toward gamblers, Carnival will call this elite sailings or premier sailings. You'll see signage in the casino. It's basically a special sailing where they're really trying to bring in their big fish spenders. And that ain't me. That's never gonna be me. I'm a little fish strategic spender. If you find yourself on a sailing with a lot of big fish, do not be chasing points in the casino, because unless you got a lot of coin to spend, you are not going to be keeping up with those people, and you're basically going to be wasting your money. And with longer sailings, there's an expectation that you're earning a higher amount of points. So if you're a first-time casino cruiser, the best place to earn your points is on a shorter sailing where there's less expectation for earning points. That is not a specialty gambling cruise where you're not going to be competing against some really big fish and some whales, and you can rank in those top players with a lesser amount of spend. That's gonna maximize your chance of getting a bounce back or come back and sail offer, and that's gonna maximize your chance of getting those email offers later as well. I also wanna touch upon other casino comps. This is really important. Now, big fish, you don't have to worry about this. The casinos are gonna be throwing everything at you. The casino host, which is a cruise line employee, they're gonna come and find you. They're gonna make sure that they say hello, and they're gonna wine you and dine you and woo you and give you everything free. That's awesome, good for you. That ain't me. For me and other little fish, we have to make ourselves known. So sometimes cruise lines will even give smaller fish casino comps. This might include things like free dinner in the steakhouse. That's my personal go-to favorite. A free excursion or free spa services. But unless you're a huge spender and one of those big fish, they're probably not going to proactively do that for you. Now they may with things like a bottle of wine, and one night at dinner, the casino might send a bottle of wine to your table if you've accrued so many points and they see that and you're like, oh, that's nice. But here's my recommendation. Once you've accrued enough points, and that can vary from cruise line to cruise line, but 10,000, that's usually a pretty good starting point. Go to the casino host. They're there, introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm a new casino cruiser. I have 10,000 points. Does that get me any comps? And if not, what does it take to get comps on this particular cruise line, on this particular sailing? Because even on the same cruise line, what gets you comps and what doesn't can vary from ship to ship and sailing to sailing. So it's always gonna be different and nobody ever knows precisely, but introduce yourself to the host, make it known you're interested in comps, ask if you qualify for any comps, and make sure you're proactive in doing that, because again, unless you're a big spender, that host is not going to be coming to find you and to seek you out, and you could be leaving things on the table. I almost always get free dinner in the steakhouse. I'm good with that. A lot of times you get free drinks in the casino once you hit a certain point threshold, if you don't already have that as a benefit. So always introduce yourself to the host, ask what it takes for comps, educate yourself. They'll tell you generally. I mean, they won't tell you specifically, or they won't tell you their magic formula, but they'll tell you, ballpark, get this many points, and then we'll talk. And then come back and ask for those comps. Now, before we wrap up, I wanna give you some final takeaways. Obviously, there's a lot to this. It's really complex, it's really nuanced, but the thing I wanna make sure everybody knows is gamble responsibly. It is so easy to get carried away in a cruise ship casino. I have done it. I have had major regrets. I spent way too much. I've wanted to vomit seeing my bills sometimes. And it's really easy to overspend in the casino when you're charging it to your stateroom. You're playing a slot machine, add money, it starts to become like not real money. So make sure before you go into it, come up with a method to control your spending. Use cash, right? You always want to do this to track your points, but don't charge to your stateroom, or set a daily spending limit so you don't find yourself getting carried away and charging too much to your room. Set a daily gambling budget and stick with it. And once you hit that limit, walk away. You gotta know when to hold them, you gotta know when to fold them. Another great tip is to join Casino Cruise Facebook groups. I have learned almost literally everything I know from these groups. It is such a wealth of information. You learn from them, and then you learn through experience, and then you share that. These are wonderful communities. They're filled with really experienced casino cruisers, and they're usually really willing to share their tips, tricks, updates, suggestions, everything about the specific casino programs. So it's a really awesome way to learn the ins and outs of how each cruise line's casino works, because as I mentioned, they're all different, and it can be difficult to track them all, and they change and stuff like that. And that can help you maximize your offers. And lastly, enjoy the experience. Cruising on casino offers and playing in cruise casinos can be a lot of fun. I was never a casino person. I thought they were stupid. I don't play in land-based casinos. I do think that's stupid. It's just a waste of money. I do it on cruises strategically to earn free cruises. And I also do now find it entertaining. If you do it wisely, you do it strategically, it's not only an excellent way to score free or discounted vacations, but it's also a lot of fun. But just be sure you always keep those risks and those rewards balanced. If you find this information helpful, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to visit my blog at profmelissa.com for tons of additional information, including free cruise port guides, cruise tips and advice, and everything in between.